Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Yeah, it might be. Well, anyway, Jay Cutler was talking about the one set to failure thing and how he always trained with volume. But yeah, it was an interesting conversation. They were talking about volume. They were talking about 2 times a day training. They were talking about the training to failure thing. And Jay Cutler was basically talking about like he never trained to failure. He would do 5 sets of five.
Oh, there it is. Fairly like that to have a lot of wear and tear on their body. I was taught early from like reading, Arnold stuff, and then Chris Aceto kind of took me under his wing and kind of taught me a little bit about training. And I think that's the theory that I followed. So it was volume training, repetitions from 8 to 12, shorter rest periods. Honestly, it worked for me. You don't see a lot of 50-year-old guys going at Dorian Yates type training and getting the most benefit out of it. Everyone was on this kick, one set to failure type thing. So the way,
I don't know if that was him clapping back at Dorian a little bit, because Dorian was kind of talking, about the reps and reserve thing this week, or I think it was last week. I don't know. It might have been him clapping back at him a little bit. It seemed like, but
I have strong opinions on this one because I've done both. And I will tell you, like at 54. I tried this, Paul, right before I started training with you, I was doing the JP style one set to failure, super heavy. And I was constantly either getting injured, in pain, soreness, couldn't sleep with the shoulder. And the moment within 2 months of changing to high volume training without going to failure, within 2 months, I have zero pain in my body. I mean, zero. And I trained 6 days a week. So
yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, it's there's knobs that you can turn on the training spectrum. If you're going to turn intensity up, you got to turn the volume and the frequency way down, and vice versa if you're going to turn the intensity down. But I like, to me, like this, it's bizarre that there's this notion that training with more volume is somehow soft. I'm like, bro, come to the gym and try to do 20 sets of chest sometime, and you tell me if that's fucking soft. Doing one set and I'm out in 30 minutes, that's I don't know, it's different. But look, they both work. People get very emotional about it. If I know, if I want to trigger people on social media, I put some posts up.
That's one of them. That's a trigger for sure.
One a trigger point for muscle nerds on social media is training volume and intensity, and another one is low carb, high fat diets.
Reps in reserve, man. Just say like, I love reps in reserve, and watch the fireworks.
Look, I'm not like sitting here thinking like I'm 3 RIR. Like, people ask me how many RIR I am, and I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. I just go in and I train when I feel like I'm getting close to where my form is starting to break down, then I put the weight down. I mean, it's just kind of
pay more attention. Yeah, you just pay more.
Yeah, attention. And I do still try to train progressively. I think you should try to progress where you can. If you're using the same weights over and over and over, week after week after week, month after month, year after year, you're probably not going to grow.
Right. No, for sure.
But a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle. So I mean, that is undeniable. I'm going to send you this other.
And we can also measure that progression in different ways. Like, it doesn't have to be like, it's such a, I don't know.
Well, I mean, volume is progressive to a certain degree too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're adding a rep here, a rep there, same weight, but you're adding reps, or adding sets. I mean, that's progression.
Or adding time under tension.
Yeah, or slowing it down, right? Same amount of reps, but you're going way slower.
Well, there's also this argument too, like I hear, and look, we know that mechanical tension is the primary driver of hypertrophy, but I do think there is, and the super sciencey people will argue it, but that there's the metabolic effect of training with more volume. It doesn't work. You'll hear people say that, but I have a hard time buying into that, especially with increased GLUT4 transport, increased uptake of amino acids and glucose while you're training, especially if you're enhanced and using insulin and other things like that. That those do have an effect. I mean, you can clearly see it with the guys Mila Sarchev and Hani Rambod and Chris Aceto train. They all train with high volume, and they're all probably using insulin and a fair amount of carbohydrates, and that does have an effect. And I think people forget that sarcoplasm is something like 80 to 85% of, well, I think it's 75 to 80% of muscle structure. It's a muscle structure only 20 to 25% contractile tissue.
For you to overtrain it, you have to really be, like I said, either missing meals or not sleeping and that.
But you were a volume trainer, Lee.
Yeah.
How many sets per body part would you do?
Minimum 20. Eyes would be 20, tries 20, legs could be 30 or more. I even said to Mike Mensa one time, does that really work? He goes, well, it does. Yeah, if you're under tension, you go super heavy. But most people thought you just do one warm-up set. Say your heaviest squat was 6 plates. People think you do 1 plate warm-up and then go straight to 6. So you'd be tearing all the muscles. I don't really believe in overtraining. To me, I'm like,
Yeah,
you're getting your
yeah, that's another one too, is the whole
warming up to that one big set. The whole
no, the fear of overtraining he is basically what he was talking about. People have this really bizarre fear of overtraining, and I don't think most people have ever truly overtrained. I think they mistake joint aches and pains with overtraining.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. No one who's arguing about this knows what it feels like.
Exactly.
To actually be overtrained.
It's like, have you actually ever overtrained?
I
notice.
I have had it happen one time, and I've talked about it before, and I was on contest prep, and where my central nervous system just would not fire. I'll work up to, I don't know, 8-9 plates aside on the leg press. And I remember going into the gym to warm up with 2 plates. And I could not fucking move 2 plates. It just wouldn't move. My central nervous system just said, nope, not working today. Not working. Now that's true overtraining.
That's your body saying it's a safety cutoff switch. It's like you're not doing that.
Well, they were talking about on the podcast, like there's no elite athlete that thinks that training less leads to better result, except for bros in bodybuilding. It's just really bizarre to me. And people get very emotional and upset about it. I made a post about it this week, and there were some super angry people in my DMs.
Why doesn't anyone today train twice a day, you think?
Because they're lazy. As Ronnie said, everyone wants to be a bodybuilder, everyone wants to lift heavy, and everyone wants to be a pro bodybuilder, but yet I think you're a pro bodybuilder. All you do is sleep, eat, and train, and they're like, any more than 45 minutes you're overtraining. I'm like, show me any other sport where the top guy in that sport only trains 45 minutes a day.
Did anyone only train once a day back then? Not really,
we all trained
right?
twice.
Yeah.
And none of us are overtrained. Everyone wants to be big, but they want to do it in the least amount of time with the least effort.
Well, if you think about it, you shouldn't be getting yourself to a point of overtraining anyhow. If you're mindful of tracking your soreness from session to session, let's say quad session to the next session, you're able to kind of really gauge that maximum recoverable volume and find a sweet spot for yourself.
Yeah, you want to live somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just reach right up to that edge and know that your recoverability is going to get you to the next session, so you can train optimally rather than picking up soreness or rolling over soreness or soreness, what do they call it? Overlap, so you shouldn't, if you find yourself in that position, you might not be tracking metrics as well as you probably could or should be, in my opinion.
Well, I made a post and it really got some feelings hurt that if one set to all out set to failure fucks you up so bad that you need a whole week to recover, there's something seriously wrong with you, man.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at guys that are construction workers out, or guys moving furniture all day long. I mean, these guys are lifting heavy ass fucking weight and moving shit around all fucking day long. Or football players, professional football players that are out. They do a 2-3 hour practice, then they lift weights.
Well, and then they get beat up, like
and
the regular
after that. Yeah.
So like the human physiology and our ability to push, people say, well, then you should do 500 sets. I'm like, well, that's a stupid fucking argument. Of course, there is an upper limit to things. That 500 sets is just as ridiculous as one,
right?
In my opinion. But I've tried both ways, and I think that's a consideration that you really need to be more careful with as you age, like with the aging bodybuilder. I did HIIT style training all through my 20s, more of the Dorian Yates style training, and I really loved it. I enjoyed doing it. I do like psychologically, I love progression. I love beating the logbook. I love going in and having that mentality that I'm going to war with the weights. But you get to a point where your body just breaks if you keep doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
You have to
shit
do it
don't fucking
intelligent.
work when
You have to do it.
yeah,
You
that
have to
shit
have a
don't
plan
work.
and do
That
it
shit
intelligent.
don't work when you get past 40, man.
Nope.
And there'll be some guy comes along that says he's an exception, but then usually when you start peeling the layers of that onion back, these are the dudes that are constantly hurt.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, constantly hurt. Or, I mean, you know, we all compete. So it's different when you're in competition season, what your body can recover from, and what you could recover from in your 20s in prep versus your 20s not in prep is totally different too. You know, if you were constantly in a calorie surplus throughout your 20s, like, yeah, you could keep pushing it like almost to no end. But at some point that you got to pay the piper,
Yeah.
especially if calories are low.
One of the reasons why I started training in the mornings is I know you have more, sympathetic drive in the afternoon theoretically, and you can lift heavier or whatever. But I feel like when I'm training in the mornings, I can recover from it better. I am less likely to have the systemic fatigue that I can train more and spend more time in the gym and recover better.
Well, there was a third video, if you want to see it, where they're talking about training twice a day, how Lee and Jay both used to train. Jay talked about training 7 days a week, twice a day.
Wow.
Up there with Roman. Jay.
I mean,
I'm
I was
thinking about
doing
doing it myself, honestly. I'm thinking about adding a second workout.
yeah, no, I've been seriously considering it too, to kind of speed up getting back to where I've been at. I've thought about, like, with my PPO, maybe going in the morning and doing triceps, and then in the evening coming back and hitting my big compound movements.
Mm-hmm.
And then, on my pull day, doing biceps in the morning, biceps and abs, and then coming back in the evening and doing my compound movements.
Yeah.
I did try that, by the way, the twice a day thing for about 2 or 3 months, and I can't honestly, like, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. It wasn't better or worse, the results I feel, than a single session. But it was interesting, like splitting it out like that, just because of the equipment I had available during the day versus the evening. It ended up working and my work schedule. But I didn't see anything better or worse, by doing
Yeah,
it.
I mean, for me, it's just a time thing.
Exactly.
My time.
It was a time management thing more than
Yeah,
anything.
I mean, if I had a home gym where I could just walk downstairs and do the stuff, it would be a little bit different. But I just, my days are usually packed from fucking start to finish. I just don't have. I don't know. I thought about doing an experiment and documenting it and see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? I could tear my bicep tendon again.
Well, there's
That's
somebody
something.
out there. Zionic said he wants to watch you go to your journey to pro. So you should start documenting that. People want to see it.
Yeah, I don't look so good right now.
I think it goes back to what Dave was saying about MRV, right? Like, if you can recover from 2 workouts a day, great. But if you don't have your recovery lined out right, you're just training like an animal, you're always going to be sore. You're never going to grow any muscle, and that's,
Yeah,
I mean, that's
you're going to
really
be in
what
constant repair
overtraining
mode,
could be.
right? You're going to be constantly
Overtraining could just
repairing.
be
Yeah.
called, poor recovery, really, at the end of the day. It's like, I think of it as like a gas tank, right? Like, you have to put all the things in the tank: proper nutrition, proper sleep, proper supplementation, proper management of your autonomic nervous system.
Yep.
And when you have all those things right, your tank is here, and you've got plenty to do to deplete that tank in the gym. But if you're not completely replenishing that tank and you're going in with a half a tank every day, you're just not going to go far.
My tank is on E all the time. I just use drugs.
I mean, that bumps it up.
That's what they say about us.
That's the nitrous button on next to the gas tank. That's nitrous.
I would say, aside from a good drug protocol, recovery protocol is probably the most important.
I joke.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me, folks. I kid. So that Tristan was saying that Roman admits his training is therapy. I wouldn't use him as a good example. Well, I mean, the results still speak. I mean, he's an elite level bodybuilder. I mean, he's one of the best, probably top 25 or 30 guys in the world.
He's
I mean,
somewhat of a genetic outlier.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever he's doing is working.
Yeah.
Granted, he maybe could dial it back a little bit more, but then it wouldn't be him. I personally, like, I don't give a fuck if one set grows people better. I would not want to train that way. I just wouldn't want to train that way.
Yeah, which wouldn't be fun. I agree.
Well, it's like
Um,
myself. I can honestly say, like, when Paul and I first met and I had asked him to coach me, I did tell him right off the bat, I go, the only thing I have that's a weird stipulation is the training I'm going to have full control over, just because for myself, I have to enjoy it, and it helps with my sobriety. Like, I have to be able to go in there and get out what I need to get out for the day, or, you know, enjoy that aspect, or just break away from the weekly grind, you know, in the gym. So I think you're right. There's definitely something to, if you're not enjoying your training, you should be able to find a way to get your cake and eat it too. Find a way to kind of manage it.